Hello, beautiful. I know exactly how you feel right now. You're wondering where the F your period is, and it's causing you undue and unnecessary stress. And the reason for this is because you probably never got the empowering reproductive health education that you should have received growing up, which is why I do what I do. So my name is Emily. I'm a certified and experienced fertility awareness educator, which basically means that I teach people like you how to understand what's happening in their body so they can have that more empowering connection to their womb instead of one where the whole thing just feels like a confusing mess. So let's go through a little bit of a lesson where we're going to break down why there's actually no such thing as a late or missing period and why what you're experiencing is actually called delayed ovulation. So what is the main event of your cycle? It's actually not your period or menstruation, even though for so many of us that feels like the main thing that's going on. It's actually ovulation, this brief 12 to 24-hour event that only takes place max once per cycle where an egg is launched out of your ovaries. And you can really see that here in this picture, right? That there's so much hormonal activity happening here in these fertile days around ovulation, and that there's really not too much hormonal activity going on right here during menstruation. So the reason why understanding ovulation is the main event of your cycle, if you feel like you're missing your period, you don't know what's going on with your irregular cycle, it's because ovulation is what is setting the border between the two parts of your cycle, your follicular phase and your luteal phase. So your follicular phase starts on day one of your period and it goes all the way up until you ovulate. And then after you ovulate, you have your luteal phase that's always going to be around 2-ish weeks long. So here's an example of the kind of charting that I teach my students to do, where they actually can know when they're fertile and know when ovulation is happening by tracking the tangible sign of their body called their cervical mucus. And I have a totally separate video linked below if you want to go ahead and explore that after this one. So you'll see that in this chart, this person would have ovulated around day 16 and had a 29-day cycle. Then they would have started bleeding, which is why they would start a new chart the next day. Once again, they ovulated around day 16 and had a 30-day cycle, and then the next month, a 28-day cycle. But you'll see that not every single cycle is the exact same, and that can be expected because we're not robots, we're ecosystems. It's normal for our body to have a little bit of variety and a little bit of change. But you probably wouldn't be watching this video if this is the way that your cycle was happening, every 28, 29, or 30-ish days. So here's an example of a chart of a student who had a cycle that was 83 days long. I myself have an astounding record of my longest cycle once being around 200 days. So I know what the experience is like when you feel like your period is missing and something feels like it's wrong. But what I really want to encourage you to do is see if you can really meet your body with curiosity instead of concern and with wonder instead of worry. So here's this mind-blowing piece that I really, really want you to walk away from this video understanding is that this person didn't ovulate until around cycle day 71. So cycle day 71 is when they ovulated according to this chart. And then in total, they had this 83-day cycle. It's important to know this because if you're over here on cycle day 37, stressing, wondering, oh my God, where is my period? Your period is nowhere even close because, babe, you haven't even ovulated yet. And you have to ovulate before you enter that 2-ish week luteal phase. Your luteal phase is not always going to be a perfect 14-day experience. Sometimes it might be maybe like 9 days or 10 days, but we can trust that it's always going to be around 2-ish weeks between ovulation and when our period arrives. However, that first part of your cycle, your follicular phase, can totally range in how long it is. You could have a 10-day follicular phase and ovulate around cycle day 11. You could ovulate around cycle day 29, or like in this person's case where they ovulated around cycle day 71. So here's an example of another chart where this person would have ovulated around day 16, and they know that because they're tracking the tangible signs of their body with their fertile fluid and their basal body temperature by taking their temperature every morning when they wake up, so that they know when they're fertile, they know when ovulation has happened, they now know that they're in their luteal phase, and they know that they can expect their period. So this is why it's so mind-blowing to really reframe the whole question of where is my missing period, and instead realize there's no such thing as a late period. What you're experiencing is delayed ovulation. Now, I could go on about this for a long time, like all the times that we can expect to have irregular cycles. That's totally normal. Like if we're postpartum, if we just gave birth to a baby, had a miscarriage, had an abortion, or anything along those lines, whether we're coming off of hormonal birth control, sometimes it really takes time for our hormones to regulate again. And then there's other times we really want to pause and really listen to the messages of our body and ask yourself, I wonder what's going on upstream in my health that is causing my body to delay ovulation. So what I want you to do is I want you to pop in the comments below this video what came up for you, what questions you have, because like I said, I could go off on this topic in so many different tangents. So let me know what tangent you want me to build off onto next. If you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to subscribe. That way you can just gain more wisdom and knowledge and love for your body with every new little mini lesson that I'm going to post for you here.